walking into a majority South Asian masjid or a majority Arab masjid, just kind of knowing that people are very like curious, like, oh my God, like, what are you doing here? I've never seen you here before, right? For the sole reason that you're black, right? It's not even that, because a South Asian, right, or a Desi could easily walk into an Arab masjid and you wouldn't think twice about it. You'd be like, sure, they're here to pray. Whereas like for me as like a black Muslim to come in to pray, and I also think like having those experiences and just being on alert is a huge thing. So kind of being very sure to make it known, even if you're not doing, sometimes you don't even do it intentionally, like subconsciously making it known that I'm just as Muslim as you, right? I know how to make wudu by myself. I know how to recite Surah Al-Fatiha. I can read the Quran. Like I've had people ask me, for example, can you read that, right? Like if I pick up in Arabic with no translation, like an Arabic Quran, like, can you read that, right? And just like trying to figure out like how you respond to those situations, especially when it's your first time encountering them, is always such a complex experience. Our selective memory of history is kind of amazing. It actually amazes me. So when I post a quote by like Elijah Muhammad, for example, and the reaction that I get from Muslims, like, this is Nation of Islam and this isn't real Islam, like, for me, that's like, wow, like, that's so interesting that you have such selective memory to not be able to know, and you have no exposure to the role that the Nation of Islam has played in, not only in the lives of black Muslims, but all American Muslims, like without a doubt, you know what I mean? And I've heard so many stories of people who converted to Sunni Islam from the Nation of Islam saying things like, when we were Muslim, right? Like, and you know, like South Asians or whoever, essentially like non-black immigrant Muslims were here, none of them were claiming Islam. It wasn't a thing that you would do. And you had these black Muslims, because that's what the Nation of Islam instilled in people. It was like, Islam is for you. Like, this didn't work, right? Like the white people were able to use Christianity to kind of like make you feel inferior. Islam is not going to do that. Islam is going to do the exact opposite. Like, you are actually superior, right? And that's literally what it taught. And so, but yeah, to be able to forget like this pride that we feel and that we're able to stand in front of hundreds and thousands of people and to say, I'm a Muslim American. To be able to forget that it is black Muslims who facilitated that for us. None of us would have done that. That selective memory is always so interesting to me, the way that we react to hearing Nation of Islam with having no interest in delving into the context. And what was Nation of Islam instilling within black Muslims? And how did that form a route for the rest of us who came over here and life was good? Like, do you think life was just good all along? Like, no, it wasn't. Like, some people like had to struggle and, right, were like attacked, and now life is good, right? Certain people have privilege when it comes to immigration. Like certain people, you want certain immigrants to come. You're welcoming, you're opening your doors to them. Whereas, so friends who I have from like Bangladesh, for example, who the majority of their family is already here, right? When they're having conversation, they're like, how many family members do you have remaining in Ivory Coast? And I'm like, all of my family is in Ivory Coast, right? And so, but that's like different experience for them to know that, because so much of their family has settled here and has moved and has immigrated. Whereas for me and my people, besides like a lottery visa, it's nearly impossible to be able to immigrate to the United States. I mean, these are the same people we're talking about who are getting on boats and who are risking their lives to immigrate, right? It's not that open door policy.